Good evening, welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Avneet Arora. And here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 5th of November. 44 arrested for killing blasphemy accused Christian couple in Pakistan. War criminals should not be given presidential clemency, say Bangladeshi activists. An Indian stock market crosses 28,000 mark for the first time. And now for all the details. Pakistan police has arrested at least 44 people for the brutal killing of a Christian couple who were burned to death on Tuesday for allegedly desecrating the Quran. The latest incident has once again highlighted the insecurity faced by religious minorities in Muslim-majority Pakistan.
Punjab police has said that investigations are on to identify people responsible for the murder of Christian couple Shehzad and his wife Shama Bibi. The couple, who worked at a brick kiln in Kot Radha Kishan, some 37 miles southwest of Lahore, were beaten up by a mob of nearly 100 people before being burnt alive in a kiln for alleged blasphemy. The incident happened after rumors were spread that they had desecrated the Quran.
इनके ऊपर इल्ज़ाम लगाया है लोकल वहाँ के एक भट्टे का जो मुंशी था और उसके अलावा कुछ और लोकल लोगों ने कि उन्होंने कुरान मजीद के औराक की बेहुरमती की है। उस चीज़ का भी हम फर्दर देख रहे हैं। फजर की नमाज़ों के बाद जो करीबी जितने भी देहात हैं उनकी मसाजिद से ऐलान हुआ है और लोग वहाँ पे जमा हुए हैं। पुलिस मौके पे पहुंची है, जो हमारा फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डर थे उस टाइम तक वो मियाँ बीवी को मार चुके थे।
The victims' relatives said the couple were illiterate and had been falsely charged. They vowed to seek justice for their murdered kin.
ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਮੁਕੱਦਮਾ ਖੁਦ ਲੜਾਂਗੇ, ਉਹਦੇ ਮਦਈ ਬਣਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ ਜਿੱਥੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਸਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਫਾਈਟ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ।
Blasphemy is a highly sensitive issue in Muslim-dominant Pakistan. Those accused often fall victims of vigilante justice by irate mobs. Minority communities, including Christians, Hindus and Ahmadis, are often at the receiving end of such justice, which in most cases turns out to be baseless.
The demand for strict punishment for war criminals is growing by the day in Bangladesh. Civil society and activists said those responsible for the biggest massacre of people and violence in the country's history should not be pardoned.
Activists and liberation war veterans met in Bangladeshi capital Dhaka on Tuesday to mark the 42nd year of the implementation of the country's constitution. They discussed the progress made in the ongoing trials at the International War Crimes Tribunal or ICT. Senior Bangladeshi journalist and freedom fighter Shahryar Kabir said the country should move in the same spirit of the 1971 Liberation War to deliver justice to victims of the Civil War.
একাত্তরে আমরা যে চেতনা নিয়ে মুক্তিযুদ্ধ করেছি, যে চেতনা নিয়ে আমরা ৭২ সংবিধান গ্রহণ করেছি, আমাদেরকে সেই চেতনায় ফিরে যেতে হবে। এই বাংলাদেশকে যদি আমরা রক্ষা করতে চাই এবং ৩০ লক্ষ শহীদের স্বপ্ন বাস্তবায়ন করতে চাই।
Bangladeshi youth and activists under the banner of the Gono Jagran Manch have been seeking an amendment to the constitution to reject presidential clemency to convicted war criminals. Taureen Afroz, one of the lead prosecutors at the ICT, reiterated the demand.
আমরা সুদৃঢ় কণ্ঠে বলতে চাই, যে সমস্ত অপরাধীদের যে বিচার চলছে সেই বিচারের রায়, সেই বিচারে যে দণ্ড তাদেরকে দেয়া হচ্ছে, সেই দণ্ড মওকুফের কোনো জায়গা, সেই দণ্ডকে ধূলিসাৎ করে দেবার কোনো জায়গা যাতে ভবিষ্যতে সৃষ্টি না হয়, তার জন্য প্রয়োজন রাষ্ট্রপতির ক্ষমা প্রদর্শনের জায়গাটিতে আমরা যদি কোনো সার্থকভাবে কোনো পদক্ষেপ গ্রহণ করতে পারি।
The Bangladesh Constitution, which was adopted in 1972, had provisions to form a special tribunal to try local collaborators of the Pakistan Army during the country's independence struggle. It was, however, only implemented in 2010 during the second term of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina-led Awami League government. The ICT has already tried and convicted over a dozen leaders of the country's largest Islamic party, the Jamaat-e-Islami, for involvement in war crimes.
Former Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was on Wednesday awarded with Japan's one of the top civilian awards for his significant contribution in bolstering ties between the two nations. Singh received the honor from Japanese Emperor Akihito at a ceremony at the Imperial Palace in capital Tokyo. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe also graced the event. Singh is among 57 foreign recipients of the 2014 Autumn Imperial decorations and the first Indian to be bestowed with the Grand Cordon of the Order of the Pavlovia Flowers, which is a high-level national order. Singh was honoured for his working towards enhancement of relations and promotion of friendship between Japan and India for about 35 years. Intelligence agencies in Pakistan are allegedly targeting Baloch people who are fighting for the independence of their homeland, Baloch activists have said. Pakistan's biggest province, Balochistan, has been a victim of Islamabad's kill and dump policy.
Baloch nationalists and their families continue to bear the brunt of those opposing the illegal occupation of their province by Pakistan. Many claim the regular targeted killings and kidnappings undertaken by Pakistan agencies have forced civil society to intensify the movement for greater autonomy for Balochistan. Human rights activists in Geneva said the rising oppression of the Pakistani establishment has pushed even women to join the 6-decade-long struggle.
औरतों को यहाँ तक मजबूर किया गया है कि किसी का बेटा उठाया गया है, किसी का हस्बैंड वो शोहर उठाया गया है, किसी का बाप है, किसी का भाई है, तो ये लोग मजबूर हो चुके हैं कि रोडों पे आएँ, प्रोटेस्ट करें, दुनिया को बताएं कि हमारे साथ क्या क्या जुल्म हो रहा है। और स्टेट जो ये हम लोग किसी दूसरे तीसरे को ब्लेम नहीं करते, हमारा वो मौक़िफ़ साफ़ है कि ये पाकिस्तान के इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसीज़ हैं, पाकिस्तान का आर्मी है और स्टेट है, ये इन पे हमला करवा रहा है ताकि इनको स्ट्रगल से दूर किया जा सके।
The Voice for Baloch Missing Persons, an organization seeking the release of abducted people, had petitioned the UN for international intervention. Baloch activists had recently marched nearly 2,000 miles across Pakistan to highlight enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killings and the continuing military operation in the province. But it had no fruitful gain.
और उस लॉन्ग मार्च के नतीजे में भी कुछ नहीं है। ये हुआ कि रास्ते में इनको धमकियाँ दी गई हैं, इनके ऊपर पथराव किया गया, इनको गालियाँ दिए गए, एक दो दफ़ा उनको गाड़ियों से मारने की भी कोशिश की गई और जो लोग थे उन्होंने इनको जो स्टे दिया, उनको होस्ट किया है, उन लोगों के ऊपर भी अब हमले शुरू हो चुके हैं।
Baloch pointed at Islamabad's turning a blind eye towards the region to stop people from entering mainstream sectors in Pakistan. With no monetary help, infrastructure remains in shambles. Neglected schools are testimony to upcoming generations facing a dark future.
बलोच जो है वो बच्चे हैं, बच्चियाँ, उनको कोई ऐसा क्वालिटी एजुकेशन ना मिले, उनको बैकवर्ड रखा जाए। तो वहाँ पे काफ़ी प्रोटेस्ट भी हुए हैं, टीचरों ने प्रोटेस्ट किया, वहाँ पे सिविल सोसाइटी ने किया, बच्चों ने भी किया, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी स्कूलों पे हमले हो रहे हैं।
Though rich in minerals and gas, Balochistan is Pakistan's most impoverished province. Locals have not got any royalty for use of their resources since its annexation by Pakistan.
Russian Deputy Prime Minister Dmitry Rogozin met Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj on Wednesday. Both the leaders discussed of strengthening ties in energy cooperation, defence technology and nuclear assistance in capital New Delhi. Rogozin, who is in India for the 20th session of India-Russia Intergovernmental Commission meeting, is also scheduled to meet Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The meeting is expected to set the agenda for the talks between the two allies during Russian President Vladimir Putin's India visit scheduled for next month. Amid heightened security, over 1,000 Sikh pilgrims reached Pakistan for the celebrations of birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Sahib, the founder of Sikh religion. Take a look.
With heavy security in place, a batch of around 1,106 arrived at the Wagah railway station in Pakistan on Tuesday ahead of the 534th birth anniversary of Guru Nanak, the founder of Sikhism. While some pilgrims took a special train on the Amritsar-Lahore line, others crossed over on foot from the Wagah border. The Pakistan government this year issued visas to 3,000 visiting Sikhs for the religious celebrations at Nankana Sahib, some 49 miles from Lahore. Worshippers said the deadly suicide attack at the Indo-Pak border in Wagah during the flag-lowering ceremony on Sunday, which left nearly 60 dead, did not deter them from taking the pilgrimage.
ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਣ ਕੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵਾਰ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਏ ਹਾਂ ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਜਨਮ ਭੂਮੀ ਤੇ।
Muslim-dominated Pakistan has some of the holiest places of Sikhs in its eastern Punjab province, including Punja Sahib and Dera Sahib shrines. Thousands of Indian Sikhs every year take the pilgrimage despite violent threats from Pakistan's Sunni-majority community. Around 15,000 local Sikhs will also join the Indians in Nankana Sahib for the celebrations, which will continue till November 9th. Other groups of Sikh pilgrims from across US, UK and other countries are also expected to congregate in Pakistan.
After hitting record highs, the Indian markets on Wednesday ended at some smart gains. After breaching the 28,000 mark for the first time, the BSE Sensex closed at 27,915.88 points, up by 0.20%. The broader Nifty also hit its new peak and ended at 8,338, up by 0.17% on sustained fund inflows amidst optimism over encouraging corporate earnings. According to market experts, persistent inflow of foreign funds and sustained buying by retail investors, coupled with a series of economic reforms by the government and profits by blue-chip companies, lifted the key indices to new highs. It was a blend of color, culture and camels at the annual Pushkar Fair. But what attracted eyeballs this year was the huge participation of foreign tourists who not only thronged as visitors, they became participants too. Take a look.
It was a blend of traditional and modern at the annual Pushkar Fair in India's northwestern Rajasthan. Set against the backdrop of Rajasthan's picturesque landscape, the famous event offers a lifetime experience for the tourists. And this was reason enough for hundreds of visitors from across the world thronging Pushkar, some 10 miles from Ajmer, to not just witness but also participate in its various events. Several enthusiastic foreigners tried the hand at playing kabaddi, the traditional Indian sport.
We were playing kabaddi. It was hard to understand the rules in the beginning, but we had a good game here in Pushkar. It was nice.
I think it's a great game, it's really good fun. We didn't know the rules very well, so when we saw the Indians playing, then we understood the tactic.
Several foreign women also dolled up as Indian brides in a unique Indian bride competition, an integral part of the Pushkar Fair's several events. Women tourists from countries like France, England, Thailand and Germany take part in the famous contest every year.
I'm really happy and it was such a wonderful experience. I'll never have another thing. I'll never experience something like that again. It was a pleasure.
The week-long fair is also known worldwide to present a brilliant combination of camel rides, various sporting events, Indian handicrafts and mouth-savoring food. People enjoyed folk dances and performances by caparisoned camels. Many also took to camel rides, cattle exhibitions and camel shows. Locals said they feel elated to see such adulation from tourists.
ऊंट श्रृंगार करके गांव जगह जगह मेले और समारोह उत्सवों में हिस्सा लेकर विलुप्त होती हुई कला को उजागर करने का प्रयास है और मेरा यही उद्देश्य है ऊंट बचाओ पर्यटन बढ़ाओ लोक कला संस्कृति है विरासत संजो और मैं चाहता हूं इस कला को और ज़्यादा देश विदेश और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर प्रदर्शित होकर और हमारे राजस्थान की एक छवि और सौगात के रूप में पूरे विश्व में फैले.
The Pushkar Fair began last week with a holy dip in the sacred Pushkar Lake by devotees, followed by a spiritual walk. Apart from being a major tourist spot, the fair attracts hundreds of animal traders and buyers from neighboring states also. Over 9,200 animals were bought at the fair by their owners from various events this year.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. 44 arrested for killing blasphemy-accused Christian couple in Pakistan. War criminals should not be given presidential clemency, say Bangladeshi activists. An Indian stock market crosses 28,000 mark for the first time. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.